Operation Fatherhood here, back with another video for my fellow fathers and thinkers everywhere. You know, I always say though, I need you to like, I need you to subscribe, I need you to share, I need you to drop a comment. I need your help. I got to build this channel up for my fathers everywhere, so I need you. Come on, do it for me, please. I was walking around this park, and this thought, has been in my brain for a while now, where, and it has to do with Tupac Shakur. Yeah, that Tupac. When I was a kid, Tupac was the truth, right? He was like, in that, I think about that 90, he was hot stuff, in that the early 90s. I guess he put out his first album with like 91, 92, I think. And, he's doing this thing, becoming big when it came to movies. And then, the 94 thing happened with or 95, 94, 95, the shooting happened, in New York. And he was kind of, getting more attention and things of that nature, getting the, more, basically getting more fame. So an interesting thing is, when it comes to Tupac, though, in the years since he's been gone, since that September 1996 shooting, we've even had recent news where police, burst into, I guess somebody, well, I should say burst, I don't know all of what happened, but investigations where, checking someone's, somebody who's famous, or not famous, but was known or involved with possibly, Tupac's murder. So that being said and known, or what have you, okay, so Tupac's back in the news. His name is back in the news again. So even after death, he's still being talked about. But the interesting thing I remember thinking was, I was listening to a conversation by the brother. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name, but it was on Vlad TV. Oh, that's right. I think it was Michael Jai White. I think that's right. And he was talking about how when it came to Tupac, he felt like he would, Tupac would change like in front of people, right? Like he would talk in a certain way or a certain manner in front of some folks, and then he would kind of change when he was around other people. And I don't know if Michael Jai White was trying to insinuate this, but some people may think that's being fake. And, because people would talk about, when he was younger, Tupac was, in an art school in Baltimore. And I think, he had done ballet before, acting, all this kind of stuff. And some people talked about him, being in Juice, as if that, like, the when he got the death row and all that stuff, that was, he kind of took on that role that he was in Juice, as I think it was Bishop, where he was basically like, a tough guy. He was a gangster. He was thugged out and all that kind of stuff, But this is where I say I actually feel a connection with him. And I did even when I was a kid, it was more so, I wasn't a big fan as a kid when he was around. When he died, I was 11 years old, 96. But I felt a connection to him. And that connection really came from it. I wonder if a lot of people have felt like this, especially African-American males. And what I mean is that back during that time especially, if you spoke a certain, way, if you had like a certain accent, or if you spoke, quote unquote, good English, if you dressed a certain way that didn't, include sagging pants or, big jerseys or the latest Jordans. Basically, if you didn't have kind of an urban look or lifestyle, you could be seen as less than by many African-American people. I mean, males and females. I mean, I knew girls who didn't like me or whichever because I, quote unquote, spoke different, right? And looked different. I wasn't the smartest kid, but I usually managed or maintained like A's and B's in school. That wasn't really popular all the time. Then again, to add to that, because I was, I spoke, quote unquote, good English or whatever that was, my accent was different or whatever, people thought I was, I'm going to go ahead and say it, people thought I was gay. And that's not some type of knock at, gay people. I'm, confident in myself as a heterosexual male. But the thing was that it was like you were, like, again, you were less than. So when I was around a certain group of people in high school, and I'd say by maybe like the first year of college, maybe, to at least to a certain extent, I tried to up my ante as this tough guy, quote unquote. I messed around with a gang in high school. At least I claimed one. I really wasn't a gang member. Yeah, I was one of those wannabes. It's sad, it's true, but it's real. So I messed around with a gang, and I messed around, trying to get involved in drugs and things of that nature. And because at the same time, I thought that was cool. I thought, like, hey, I'm, this tough guy, will get girls' attention. It will get the respect of my fellow peers. And so, but again, you're trying to grow. You're trying to figure out who you are at the same time, with that kind of mindset. So that's where I say I understand and I connected with Tupac in that aspect. I always kind of felt like he really wasn't trying to be a thug or a so-called gangster. He may have said it in the songs. Yeah, I know a lot of people do, and some people may call that fake. But I just felt like he was trying to assert himself in a certain way that, again, that was popular at the time, and also what he saw as a young man and as a kid that didn't have his father around him. So let me bring this back to my fathers, okay? Those who have stuck with me past that 5-minute mark, okay? Is we have to make sure as dads, and we're in our kids' lives, to help them to be sure of themselves, help build that self-esteem, help them to realize, hey, it's okay to be who you are and what you want to be, and it's okay to be smart, speaking good English or whatever language that child will be speaking, or whatever accent or place you come from. There's nothing wrong with that. Not all of us are urban. I was a suburban kid. Now I also say this to fathers, knowing that it is also quite difficult with social media and TV, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. That just like it was when we were kids, where your child is going to be inundated with everything in the world, and music or whatever, that's going to tell them to think this way and act this way and go on and so forth. So it can be very difficult to try to encourage them to think a certain way, to see things a certain way, or whichever. You do want them to think for themselves, but you do know, as we are adults, that things can be unhealthy for them, okay, or not good for them, even if the culture and society say it is good for them. But we have to continue to be on the lookout for that, and we have to continue to make sure that we're building them up, helping them think, giving them the strength to carry on, and the strength to be an individual, and not having to go along with the collective or the group at all times. It's okay for them, or so it's great for us to help them see that it's okay for you to be yourself. Okay, and like I said before, that's one of those things that is hard as a father because of what they see and hear, and things of that nature. But we have to continue doing that. That's a part of our work. Okay, so tell me what you think if you stuck with me this long. As a father, how do you take the time out with your child to help them be able to grow and be confident in and of themselves? Please like, subscribe, share, drop a comment for me. Tell me what you think. Operation Fatherhood out. Peace.